Call me crazy, but one would think that if you're preparing for a playoff game, that maybe, just maybe, doing a podcast might not be the greatest usage of your time. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm just curious. And I'm not here to cast aspersions or trash anybody or anything like that, but seems very interesting to me that there is a certain dismissive nature when it comes to the Miami Hurricanes in their matchup against Ohio State. Forget about the fact that, national people are doing podcasts. That's what they do. But when you're a football player and you're playing in the game and you are making a podcast about the game, as well as other things, as someone who podcasts for fun, because this is not my day job, this is my fun stuff I enjoy doing, it takes time. I mean, even hobbies take time. Even things that you enjoy take time. And if I have to do my day job, I'm doing my day job. That's how I pay my bills. That's how I take care of my family. It's just very interesting because the Ohio State Buckeyes are playing the Miami Hurricanes on December 31st, and on December 24th, Christmas Eve, there's a podcast dropped by Caleb Downs. I don't know if you're aware of it, but he has a podcast called Downs to Business that he does with his brother Josh Downs, who plays in the NFL. Now you may have heard of Josh Downs. And I'll sit here and I'll tell you, Caleb Downs, he didn't say anything off the cuff or anything crazy, but I just think it's like a massive waste of your time when you. I don't know, man. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe I'm making it more than it needs to be. But if there were Miami Hurricanes players making podcasts coming into this game, people would be crushing them. People would be saying you're not taking this game seriously. People would say, they dumped their wad against A&M and they're pretty much they've thrown it in and they're like they did what they felt they needed to do, and that's not the approach that I would think that people would want to have going into a playoff game. I mean, it's a huge game. It's a huge game. It's a final 8 game. Only 4 of these games, and Miami Ohio State's one of them. Is probably the biggest game of the 4, realistically. But I'll let you hear what this podcast, and we'll talk about it. My name is Rudy Rodriguez Showmont. Welcome back to another edition of Hurricanes Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Ring that bell. Leave your comments. I want to know what you think. Wishing everyone a Merry Christmas. Hope everyone had a wonderful holiday. We are now back in the swing of things. Today, I'll be real. Today's December 26th. I slept the entire day. Had to get my kids to the airport at 5 o'clock in the morning, visiting their mother where she lives, and had to be there at 5 o'clock in the morning for a 7 a.m. flight. So I never went to sleep last night. So I slept very, very little from Christmas Eve to Christmas Day, very little. And then falling asleep on my mom's couch at Christmas Day dinner. That was the extent of my sleep. Maybe fell asleep on my couch for about, I don't know, 20 minutes, an hour. And then took my kids to the airport and then got home and then I went to sleep. I went to sleep. I think I slept from about 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning till about 7:30 at night. So it is 11:25 right now as I record this. And it's been a long, long couple of days, but I hope everyone had a wonderful day. We are now back in the swing of things. We will have plenty of content leading up to this big quarterfinal game between the Miami Hurricanes and Ohio State Buckeyes. But take a listen to this podcast. We're going to link it in the description. But listen to what these guys had to say. Caleb Downs had to say. I tell you what, Josh Downs, big brother, he seems to be a realist and he recognizes the skill on the Miami Hurricanes. But y'all take a listen. Let me know what y'all think. I'm sure you were shocked to hear this because I told somebody about it and they're like, "What are you talking about?" They actually have a podcast and they're getting ready for a game. That's wild. Take a listen.
Caleb, past weekend saw the Hurricanes take down A&M at A&M. Fourth quarter game, all the way through, dogfight. 10-3, very low scoring. What do you see? What did you see during the game, and what do you make of the Hurricanes?
I mean, that was a very awkward game to watch, honestly. Like the wind and everything was affecting a lot, and you could see that on the film. But I mean, they fought a lot and they fought hard, and it was a really defensive game. And It's going to be a challenge to come in there and get a win during the Cotton Bowl. So we're excited for it, and we're going to go push and to be our best selves.
Yeah, they got a great little receiver, Malachi Tony.
Why you get so excited to say that?
Game ain't based on sympathy. He nice. He nice. It'll be a good game. Him and the running back's good too. What do you see from their offense on tape? Hey, look, they also got a couple of Gwinnett County dudes on. They got C.J. Daniels. He went to Parkview. Keelan Marion's not Gwinnett County, but he used to train with Drew a lot. Number 0, he trained with Drew a lot, and I think I played with him.
I've seen him before then.
Yeah, you definitely have. Keelan used to train with Drew a lot. Like, and CJ, he went to Parkview. So them dudes, like I used to be around them dudes. Like I used to work out with them or just see them around and stuff. Like, 2 good players. So what do you think of their offense?
I mean, they do a really good job. Beck is a really veteran guy. You can tell he knows what he's doing. He's done this for a long time. I played against him my freshman year, and he's just as good as he was then. I mean, Malachi Tony's played to a superb level from what everybody expected. So I give him a lot of respect for that. Everybody else, Mark Fletcher, all the guys, the receivers, they've been doing their thing. So it'll be a challenge, and we got to go out there and earn the right to win. So.
Yeah, very true. At the beginning of the season, I really did believe like it was going to be you guys in Miami in the national championship because they were playing. I thought they were a really good team. I thought they were older. Then they dropped a couple bad ones, but I do think they're a good team. I like y'all, of course, but I do think they're a good team. Their strength is their D-line. Obviously, you play defense, but have you watched any of them, or has anybody on the offense been talking about them?
I mean, yeah, you definitely hear about it around the facility. I know a couple of the guys there. I was with Ruben a couple of weeks ago at the Lot Trophy, and it was cool to see him there. I mean, he's a great player. He's done a lot in college football, so it'll be cool to see that matchup going against him. But I mean, I got to take our guys on the O to make it happen. So I mean, so we got to make it shake.
Yeah, and Big 4. He's from South Florida, so this is a little personal to him. He was in an interview talking about they still talking about that game from 20 years ago, but we got something for them. What's the motivation for him for this game? Obviously, it's different because he's from there. And what are y'all's practices like right now? Are y'all really getting to it?
I mean, yeah. I mean, the intensity level has to be turned up. Just based off what you're playing for. At the end of the day, like you play to play in big games and to play in moments like this and to play in the playoffs. So that's what we're excited for. But yeah, we have a couple guys that are from South Florida, so it's a big game for them, and they're excited to go play. Kenyatta Jackson, B.I., and C.J. Donaldson, everybody. I mean, they love talking about it. So I think it'll be a lot of emotions going into the game, but at the end of the day, the ball got to get snapped and football got to get played.
Yes, sir. All right. There was a lot of chatter in the first round about James Madison.
So that was the extent of what they said about the University of Miami and the Miami-Texas A&M game and the upcoming matchup with Ohio State. Got to be real. I mean, they didn't really say a lot of anything negative. There was nothing pressing. Now, what I would say is this: if I'm a player, I do have. It's odd to me that you're doing podcasts a week out from a game. I get it. You have a life, the whole nine. This whole world's way different than it was back when I was younger, and we didn't have everything online, and we didn't have all this stuff going on. But an hour and 30 minutes long, this podcast, this probably took multiple hours. They don't typically do these podcasts in one sitting. They might have to stop and edit, and they're probably not the ones editing it, I would presume. But I would say that you have to stop. You may pause. I mean, an hour and a half hour and 20-minute podcast typically will take, when it comes to being live or even recording. I mean, just from my personal experience, it typically will take you probably at least 2 hours. Because you might stop, start, etc. And it's just interesting to me that a week out from a playoff game, Caleb Downs has a couple of hours to spend doing a podcast with his brother. I mean, this just doesn't. Like I said, if this was the Miami Hurricanes, people would be saying, "Oh wow, the Miami Hurricanes are so unfocused." They got players doing podcasts, and Caleb Downs is an elite football player. He's one of their best players defensively. He's elite, and you hear what he mentioned about the guys from South Florida, Jeremiah Smith, and a couple of other dudes who are talking all about this, blase, blase. Obviously, they're focused heavily on this game. They want to win this game very, very badly. I have no doubt about that. But now you wonder if they're losing, they're losing, they're getting lost with they're what is it, the forest from the trees type of thing, and they're more focused on the fact that they're playing Miami rather than they're playing a football game. Like when you get into this mode of I gotta beat Miami because I'm from South Florida, well, that's cool and dandy, and I feel you on that, but you have to remember you have to treat this like it's a football game. Like there can't be anything different other than a typical football game, and that's just the way I feel about it. I mean, it'll go, it would go with anything. I mean, if we had anybody from Columbus, Ohio, on our team, with Miami, and what would we would you want them to be so worried about the fact that they're playing Ohio State, or would you want them to be focused about the fact that it's a football game? Like this is a playoff game. All that stuff on you're playing whoever you're playing. Forget who you're playing. You're not playing. You're playing football. And what I don't want for the Miami Hurricanes, I don't want Miami Hurricanes to get lost in the moment of saying, "Oh, we're playing Ohio State, big bad Ohio State." I don't think that the Miami Hurricane football players are like that, and I don't want them to feel like they have to do anything vastly different than what they normally do. Like if you play the way you played A&M, you're gonna win. Like I'm gonna be blunt. If Miami plays the way they played A&M, particularly on defense, they're gonna win the game. Miami will win the game if they hold Ohio State to 3 points. If they hold Ohio State to 10 points, Miami's gonna win the game. Like the crazy thing about it to me is every way in which people are picking the only way they think Miami can win is in a low scoring game. I mean, I don't understand. Do I think Miami wins a shootout 45-42? No, they don't. They don't have that type of offense. If the game is 45-42, if someone scores 45 points in this game, it's because the defenses took a shit or there were a lot of turnovers that went for his touchdowns. I don't think either of these teams is incredibly high powered. Even Ohio State, I don't find them to be an incredibly high powered offense. They have great performances. They've also been in tight games throughout the year. You look at their games. I mean, typically they've only scored over 48 points once, and that was against Grambling, where they scored 70. Otherwise, 14, 37, 24, 42, 34, 34, 38, 34, 48, 42, 27, and 10. So this is not a team that, and I find it interesting because it's not a team that's been blowing the doors off of people in terms of scoring 50, 60 points. They don't do that. That's not their game. That's not their game. And while it remains true that they have not given up more than 16 points in a single game this year because their defense is high level, they haven't really played a high level offense. And I would say that Miami's offense is just as good, if not better, than every single team on this schedule, including Indiana. Indiana has had their offensive explosions. They score more points than Ohio State does. They've had their 63, their 56, their 55, their 56, their 56. But these are against bums like Kennesaw State, Indiana State. They only beat Old Dominion 27-14. I mean, Indiana's a good team. Illinois was probably their best, most complete performance, in terms of offensive and defense. 56 on Purdue. But they barely got by Penn State. So, it's one of those things where Miami people are just it's almost like people forgot that Miami did have an offense that scored points prior to the A&M game, and that the wind was a major factor in the game, and there won't be wind this time. I mean, Miami has had, scored plus 40 points 1, 2, 3, 4 times. I mean, they've scored 40 points. Are they as high scoring a team as Ohio State? No, they're not. But it's not like it's some massive gap of 15-point difference, in terms of point scoring. So you hear these different opinions from people. Oh, the only way Miami's going to win is if it's a defensive game. Like I don't agree with that. Do I think that there is some component of, Miami's got to score, score points, got to be better offensively? Absolutely. I mean, there's no question about it. Like for example, Ohio State's averaging 34.9, Miami's averaging 32.2. Like that's this much. But yet somehow Ohio State has this vaunted offense And Miami can't score on payday in a whorehouse to some of these national people. That said, you know, Josh Downs brought up Malachi Tony, and he did bring him up. And I find Caleb Downs seems to know everyone's name. I think that's a sign of respect that he knows everyone's name. He Mark Fletcher, Malachi Tony, Ruben Bain. He's naming guys off of the cuff by name. So he's been watching film. But again, I'll sit here and say you got 2 hours to spend. The 2 hours should be spent. It's just my opinion. The 2 hours should be spent prepping for your game, not spending it on a podcast. It just seems like a lack of focus. And some people will say, "Oh, you're crazy. You're reading too much into it." But again, I come from a different generation. I come from the generation that after you win a football game, you don't go take your cell phones and jump on TikTok. And that goes for everybody. Miami does it too, and I hate it. I absolutely despise it. I don't like the inside the locker room videos. I hate them. I wish that would remain private. There are things that should remain private, when it comes to football and teams and stuff like that. And so they all do it now in all sports, especially in college sports, even more so than pros. But the college kids, they are really they record the inside of the locker room. Like I don't want my locker room recorded because the things that could be said in the locker room could get people in a lot of trouble. Like the Ruben Bain comments when he said what he said about A&M after the game, and the F this and F that. And while it's fine and dandy, it doesn't paint him in a good picture. I mean, it's how he feels, and I get it. I understand he felt disrespected, but his teammates his teammates. Yes, this is done by his own teammates. It's not, you don't want to look like that guy. I mean, it's just my opinion. And people will say, "Oh, you're stupid, blah, blah, blah." Fine. I'm stupid then. I'll be stupid. I just think there's things that you don't do and things that you do. And then it comes down to the way we are in college football today and how we are in sports today. And everything is show. There's nothing private. There's nothing that's sacred. There's nothing that stays inside. And so the fact that Caleb Downs is talking about the game with his brother, it's interesting. I don't know. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts. I mean, he said nothing really negative about Miami. I mean, his brother said that he expected this to be a national championship game. See, right there, that is a big sign right there. Josh Downs expected Miami to play Ohio State for the national championship. And if you don't believe that based on something like that, this is a current professional football player who's on a podcast with his brother, and he's sitting here telling you his brother, "Yeah, I thought this would be for the Natty." It shows you the levels of respect also that Josh Downs, big brother to Caleb Downs, has for the Miami Hurricanes football program. Now, think about that for a second. While people are taking an absolute shit on Miami, "Oh, they lost to this." Notice you didn't hear anything about, "Oh, they lost to SMU. They lost." They don't care. They know this is football. Well, they just lost to Indiana. So, like, an L is an L. However it comes, whoever comes to it's an L. You want to measure your L's? Fine, measure your L's. Whatever it is, it is. He's watched the last 5 times. He just watched Miami's defense completely shut down an offense that averaged almost 35 points a game in the SEC. It can be done. And the fact that you got guys from South Florida who seem to be very, very focused on this game and talking shit in the media like Jeremiah Smith has already done. Yeah, you can see that their mindset is probably not exactly where it needs to be. I mean, that's just my opinion. You let me know what you think in the comments. Because I would not want Jeremiah Smith, as he did, jumping on a interview, boom, already talking shit about Miami and talking shit about the fans. He did it day 2. And now Caleb Downs is basically coming back behind and saying, "Yeah, these guys they really want to beat Miami so bad." So would they make mistakes because they're trying too hard? You could say that. It's a possibility. If they don't play well, would you say, "Oh man, they put the world of pressure on their own backs"? It's a possibility. But y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments. What would you think if you saw Ruben Bain? I mean, that's Caleb Downs. He's the equivalent of Ruben Bain or Keontae Scott or Jacoby Thomas, one of these elite, top shelf players on our defense. But I'd say Ruben Bain because he mentioned Ruben Bain. Like, think about that. If Ruben Bain will never do this. That's the thing. He'll never do this. This is a guy who's laser focused on what he's got, the task at hand. I mean, you're not seeing Miami guys do stuff like that. Again, if Miami guys did this, people will be slaughtering them. They'd be saying, "Oh, they're not focused." And you saw what he said about Carson Beck. I mean, he knows who Carson Beck is. He knows who Carson Beck is. He's not sitting here pussyfooting around with Carson Beck. He knows Carson Beck's a great player. While the national media wants to paint Carson Beck as some like kid that needs, I mean, is like lesser than for whatever reason, despite the fact he's 35-5 as a starting quarterback in college football. I mean, come on now. But yeah, y'all let me know y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about the fact that there's a podcast, and what do you think about what they had to say? You know, y'all leave y'all thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button. Again, we are on and popping these next 5 days. We're ready to roll. December 31st, we will be right here live. So y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We are about 20 subs away from 13,000. We're almost there. Help us get there. Help us get to that 13,000 mark by the weekend, man. I want to get over that 13,000 mark. That's going to be a big thing. It's a big accomplishment for our show, especially the way we've adjusted and shifted on a dime, because that's what we can do. We're versatile. We can get it done. And that's all I got. Y'all have a great night. And of course, we'll see you soon. So technically 21 subs away. Let's go, man. This is Hurricanes Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.